My guest in the studio, I have Reverend Koyeladele. He's a public affairs analyst. Good to have you here again.
It's nice being here.
And of
Thanks
course,
for having
yes, and of course I have Ejijino Omololu. He's also here. Thank you for being here.
It's certainly a player.
Yes, let me start off this way. NLC planned protest over insecurity. A lot of people will be asking that, well, I feel as a matter of fact, that what's the business of NLC on insecurity issues in the country? Because NLC appears to be a body that should be united against workers' welfare, against instances where government do not apply by the rules when it comes to industrial issues. Now, my question is, what is the business of NLC with insecurity in the country? Isn't that a distraction? Let me start off with Ejidino. You are a comrade because you have a comrade at the back of your name. Let me start off with you. What's the business of NLC?
Nigerians, laborers are part of Nigerian citizens. There is no way you can strictly narrow down the roles of NLC down to the affairs of workers alone, because the workers are first a citizen of the country.
Okay.
And whatever happen in the country in one way or the other affect the workers and the laborers. It has a multiplier effect not only on workers and based on that grant, NLC has been saddled with the responsibility to step into whatever make life not convenient for the workers. It's not only about their wages.
Isn't the minimum wage enough for the NLC to look at? Because as of now, how many states have implemented, how many people are paying 30,000 naira? Isn't it that the union is paying lip service to the cause of the workers? If you're not fighting for the cause of the people you have a primary assignment to, and you're leaving that to fight for insecurity, what's your business? How many of them are security experts?
Do you realize that the primary roles of any responsible government is the security of life and property? It is only the living that can enjoy the minimum wage. When your life is not secure, when you are not longer at peace in your country, forget about minimum wage. It is when you are breathing the air of peace and you are living in a quiet environment, okay, then you can begin to think about how you spend your money.
Well, let me come down to Koyeladele. I was just thinking in my mind that they should be more concerned about the welfareism of those who work within the labor unions itself. Isn't the NLC going into politics when we have them actually kicking against insecurity, saying their quote-unquote planned protests against insecurity? What does that tell us? And of course, tying it to Shuere, for instance, has said that he was going to be having a revolution now protest, which was aborted by the government itself. And now you have NLC taking that on again, saying that we want to protest insecurity. What is this telling us? Is NLC trying to dabble into politics here?
The truth of the matter is everything labor involves politics.
Is that healthy?
It's not healthy. You are quite right. But you see, it's a ploy. If whenever ASU goes on strike in Nigeria, they will say it's for the concern of the students. But the truth is for the concern of their pockets. Because before they will call off their strike, they will negotiate salary, allowances, and they will ask the government to pay a certain amount of money before they will resume.
So is that responsible for the decay? I want
to believe that most of these unions play politics in order to at least wrestle their interests from the hand of government. Like you rightly said, what is the business of NLC with insecurity? But like my brother rightly said, we are all Nigerians, we are all involved. But is it morally right for NLC to spearhead a protest of such? Can NLC not deploy means of another opportunity, even if they have anything to pass across to government? Can they not write letter to government? Can they not go and meet the various leaders of government at the federal level, at the various state level? But the truth of the matter is, the issue at stake is NLC wants to fight for their minimum wage.
Okay,
and
but
they are only using this as a ploy.
But
it's a ploy.
Does that make sense here?
That is the Nigerian context.
Let me remind you of what Plato said.
That is how things are done in Nigeria. Like I've given you an example of the ASU. ASU will tell you the condition of service is terrible. We don't have this, we don't have that. The students are not well prepared, they are not well groomed academically, so that the international world and the community at large will think they are fighting for the students. But the truth is they are fighting for their pocket, they are fighting for salary, they are fighting for allowances. So it has become a trick. It is a logic. The word is logic. They use this logic to advance the cause of their various
And so is that not some of the reasons
organization.
why we are having, for instance, labor will cry for so long? The government will find it difficult to implement some of what they've cried out for. If you say as a matter of fact that they are Nigerians, they have a right to protest, but issues that they're not supposed to protest on, like insecurity, for instance, don't you think...
Can I hear you see that issue that I'm not supposed to protest for? Insecurity?
You have a dissenting view. If you have a dissenting view, please air it.
Yeah,
because that's my own stance. That they don't have
Are you
any
not
business.
Nigerians? Whose life is secure? Is referring on the Nigerians? Now let me share one matter with you. The right to protest is not illegal. It is a lawful in the law. You can state a protest. Go. I can state a protest.
Not at the detriment of my primary assignment.
Listen, I'm coming.
They have a primary assignment. Have they fulfilled
Hold
their
on,
primary assignment?
Hold on,
Okay.
You have a right to express your feeling. A small baby, a suckling baby has a right to protest to the mother in form of crying. There's nothing wrong in protest. I don't know the kind of mentality, the kind of view you are maintaining concerning protest.
That is my own view. That's my own stance.
Because
I feel, as a matter of fact, I'm not saying this
in the ideal society, in a civilized society, every citizen, whether labor or not labor, has the right to express their grievances in a lawful way. A congregation has the right to protest to the pastor in a lawful way. That's it. You listen to that complaint, you address that issue. Once you now, may I tell you this today? One of my mentors, late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., said, if keeping the peace means I should keep my mouth shut in the midst of injustice and evil, I should not keep that peace. Now the life of Nigeria is no longer secure.
What happens to civil society organizations who are saddled with the responsibilities of actually looking at some of the blunders within the system?
My
question is that why is labor leaving their primary responsibilities?
Listen to me. Listen to me. I'm driving on something.
Okay.
Papa, hold on. Now I've told you, and Papa also has established it, that they have the right to express their feeling. But you are trying to look at the priority. Is that if I'm getting right?
Yes, their primary assignment.
But they are forcing Nigerians. You are forcing Nigerians before you claim to be a workers. And any society where insecurity portend a danger, anybody living in that society that keep quiet is playing with gunpowder.
Let me look at it in this way. You see, our understanding of protest in Nigerian context is taking to the street, disorganizing civil order, burning tire on the road, causing mayhem, throwing stones at policemen, and things like that.
I disagree.
But the truth of the matter is, there are more polite ways to protest. There are several ways an organization, an individual could stage a protest without really recurring to some of these things that I've described. For example, I have highlighted that NLC is an organization for the labor, the civil, the labor workforce of the nation. But the truth is, yes, they can protest. They have a stake in the security system of the nation. Like you rightly said, when they take the money, is it not the society they are going to spend it? What is the essence of the money you have, and you cannot move freely in the society to spend your money?
Definitely.
That is quite right. But when we now have labor spearheading protests for insecurity, we need to find out, is it really a genuine interest at that, or they have a sinister motive? Or, like I rightly said, there are better ways to do things. I believe the labor organization can write a letter to authority concerned, stating their concern about the state of insecurity in the country. That is one way of staging a protest. They can go en masse to the seat of power and go and carry out their grievances and submit letter. That is the way to go about it. But when you have to drag the whole nation into insecurity in the name of protesting insecurity, something is wrong somewhere.
You have something against what Reverend Koye had said in terms of the manners in which Nigerians actually say protest to mean. When they say protest, like he was quoting that a lot of people feel that it's about throwing pebbles and the rest of it. You have something against that?
Definitely have a contrary view to that. When you stage a protest, he has agreed with me that there's nothing wrong in staging a protest. But he's looking at the protest in the context of Nigerian society. And you should know that when you stage a protest, most especially in the society where the government want to muzzle, make sure that everybody does not have the right, does not exercise his constitutional right of expressing their feeling. Okay? They make sure that the security apparatus, which are expected to provide security for the protesters. Okay, because sometimes when you look at what led into chaos when a protest is being staged, okay, a protest could be hijacked by hoodlums, okay, and when it is being hijacked by hoodlum, it is also being the security apparatus also liaise to frustrate the protest. I've staged a protest before. I've said on this platform right now, any one of us can stage a protest, but what we discover is that the security part of the state has been used to frustrate the protesters. In that regard, it leads into chaos. Now, listen to me very carefully. We should get it right. To protest is not illegal. It is not illegal. And every society every government should allow its citizens to express their feeling. And the state should make sure that the protests are properly managed by the security apparatus. But one thing I discover in this society is that once you express your feeling, a contrary view, the government make attempt to make sure that every citizen is silenced completely. That no one should raise their voice. May I tell you this code today? Even sometimes when I contribute to a program like this, okay, some of the allies of the government, they begin to call me. I say, nobody can make a threat call to me. Because I have the constitutional right to express my feeling. No, and some of them will come to me and say,
let me just come in here.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. If you look at the way things have been happening in the country itself,
okay,
how come we have a label if they are really interested in protesting over what really I feel is not their business here? How come they have not protested over time? We had a Leah Sharibu for a very long time.
Okay.
We did not see labor protest.
Okay.
Of course, we've had charades of IPOP threatening and, of course, telling its members to beat up public officials.
Okay.
Why is labor taking out this time?
I will remind.
The quality appears heated.
Okay, cool.
How come labor is now tuning in into
I will remind you
to begin to protest?
I will remind you what I stated here on AM Cafe some time ago. That it's quite unfortunate some of the scenario and some of the things we witness in the labor this day. The political elites are infiltrating into the labor union, and some of the labor leaders are in one way or the other romancing with the political class, and this is a rules we call divide and rules. Okay, it has been a method.
They played into the gallery. Don't you think they played into the gallery?
Because I even have a response to that.
Now, okay. I'm coming, please. Reverend, Reverend, hold on. I'm coming. Now, in that regard, it has been a sudden occurrence when we see the political class trying to use divide and rules and they penetrate into the labor
Who do we blame for that?
Now I'm coming.
Are you blaming the government here?
Now I'm going to listen to me. Listen to me. Now, when we are talking about does labor is that a misplaced priority? If I get it right, for labor to stage a protest, okay?
On insecurity.
On insecurity. Thank God the reference said that there's no way you can enjoy your minimum wage. One of the benefits of welfare is security of life and property. Now, it's not a misplaced priority at all. How do you expect me to live in a country where it's not secure with my minimum wage? Are you getting my point right now? If I collect my money and the environment around me is not secure, if I sleep in the night, it is not certain that we're going to the following money. and you expect the union to remain silent or to maintain about the minimum wage. It is a narrow, it is a parochial and myopic view about labor organization. Don't maintain
even though you said
it is being myopic.
You said
yes.
Even though if I'm correct with what you said,
yes.
that some of them have been compromised
yes.
with some of their standards.
They're coming back.
Let me look at it this way. Even I want to believe that staging a process itself by labor or by any organization could be a ploy to worm themselves into the heart of the government. For example, the show
at the detriment of people who they have taught,
you may not know
who they have told they are protesting
at one time or the
cause.
other. We've been in school where the student union want to stage one protest or the other, but you will realize that the agenda of the executive of this union is something else entirely. They just want to use the student as a cannon folder to achieve an objective. So they stage a protest, and at the end of the day, they are settled. You don't know they are settled. Then they say, okay, well, the authority has spoken to us. You don't know that they have gotten some settlement. So what I'm saying is, the truth of the matter is, we don't know the sincerity of who is who when it comes to the issue of protest. I keep saying, I am not in support of violent protests. We have seen proponents of peaceful protests. We have a lot to learn from Mohandas Gandhi. We have a lot to learn from Martin Luther that he quoted. These are people, apostles of peaceful protest, who really fought for issues and not really for disorganization of the society and pulling things down. Because the truth of the matter is, what do we achieve at the end of the day when we pull things down and cause chaos? Protest is not causing chaos. Protest is not lynching people, making enemies, throwing stones, bonfire, killing opponents. That is not a protest. That is barbarism. So, and the law enforcement agents have a duty to allow any protest, because we have a right, like he said, a constitutional right to protest, but you must get permit.
There's no need for that. It has been
you must get permit.
There's no need for that.
You have to go to the law enforcement agent to tell them what you intend to do. The police will.
Let's even listen to the precedents.
There's no police permit. There's no need for police permit again.
What precedents are you talking about here? That there is no need for police permit.
It has been settled in the court 2003 when General Buhari staged a protest in Kaduna. Mr. Femi Falana, approached the court, and this issue of getting police permit has been settled.
That is even debatable.
I'm coming.
Femi Falana said he went to court.
Papa. I'm coming. Hold on, Papa. Now, and we have approached the court on several issues about police permit. There is no need. I stand to be challenged. I stand to be challenged.
Anybody
that believe that you need to secure a police permit before you can stay your protest, it is not right.
No. That's not the issue.
It is not right.
You are not.
It is wrong. There are amplified enough facts on the ground.
Can I make a statement on
I'm
the
coming.
You
definitely do. I'm coming, please. You definitely. Now there are enough evidences that you don't need to get police permit. I'm talking.
What are the evidence?
There is no that the court have settled that.
Court
have settled that. I will not be the court. When we leave, I will show you.
Okay, can I just make a statement as regards that?
You are welcome.
He referred to General Buhari during the 2014 election that led to the 2015 election, when Buhari was coming for the first time, when they had a protest and the government of the then President Jonathan Goodluck mounted obstruction to them that they shouldn't do it. Femi Falana said he went to court and he got an injunction that the police are to provide security for them, because the court permits everybody to protest with the consciousness of the police.
By the instance of the police.
At the instance of the police.
Disagree.
So it is not a matter. Anybody who comes together in 2 or 3 to form a protest, that becomes an unlawful assembly.
No at all.
And the police have the duty to disperse them.
No at all.
So you must go to the police to tell them your intention, and then if they have approved it, they provide a covering for you, they go with you, you do what you want to do, and then you peacefully go to your home.
But don't you think that actually brings about orderliness in the protest?
That is the position of the law as regards protest.
I disagree with Papa and
anybody who says anything to the contrary,
I disagree.
I would like to know the authority is quoting from.
I disagree. I will
because if we don't have such a refined way of protest, then definitely we are giving room for chaos. Like he said even before, he said, Uldrum, we hijack protest. So will the police sit down? They have a constitutional role of maintaining law and order. So are they going to sit down, or you sidetrack them to say you are going to the public to cause mayhem? No, the police must be involved. But what the court said at that time, which he was quoting, was that the police should be part of it. There is nothing you do within the public.
There is no need for police will
be sidelined.
But don't you think it will give room for a lot of people to hijack?
Let me enlighten you and educate on this point of view, on this ground. That asking for police permit, I'm talking authoritatively. I'm not just gainsay that there is no need for police permit again. If I have known that this issue before,
but we've not heard such from the IG.
I'm coming,
confirming and reaffirming that you don't need that.
Hold on. If I'm very sure that this issue of police permit be raised, I will have looked at my archive to present the fact to the Papa that there's no need for police permit. It has been settled. That is to me. You are raising a question that would it cause or lead to breakdowns of law and orders. Now, I've said before that police are expected, okay, to make sure that things go in orders.
Then how do the police become a part of it when they are not aware?
Papa, hold on. I was so eager to listen to you when I expressing your view. Allow me to do my own favorite, please. Now, on that ground, when you now look at the issue about police permit or no police permit, it is not me. I'm not quoting. I'm not expressing my opinion on this platform. I'm talking from the court injunction. There is no need to get police permit when you want to stage a protest.
Well, in order not to misinform the public, we are in a public forum.
Yes.
Since you don't have authority to cite
there are authority, I cannot cite precisely now.
We should keep that opinion so that we don't misinform the general public.
They are not being misinformed. If anybody wants to get my contact, I will definitely read my contact.
You are not giving us any facts. No. You will have quoted the case in question. You will have quoted the judge and the judgment is passed. But in the absence of that, it is a misinformation.
Allow me to have my floor. I'm still on the floor, please.
No, we are not debating.
I know.
We are discussing.
I want to educate the public about this issue properly. Now, I'm not expressing my opinion. If I have known that the issue of my police permit be coming up, I will have done justice to before I come on the board.
Since you didn't know, don't let us misinform the public.
Now, the public who are ready to learn should go and browse it and raise it on your net and search.
You made a point now.
Is there a need for police permit to stage a protest?
You made a point that the police must be involved. How will the police be involved on what they have not known?
You can inform somebody. It doesn't mean that you should get a permit for him. Don't miss it all.
Okay, gentlemen. Let's just before we peg it there, because we have someone who has also served within the police force itself. Okay. He's going to be on the set. Maybe he'll be able to give clarifications as to whether a permit can stand or not. But just to let our viewers know that you could also participate. The numbers are on your screen, but let me call them out again. 0811-4347-841 is the number for you to participate. But we'll take this break and we'll be having AZ Harrison joining us on this platform. Do stay with us. You're welcome back. He's still on to political stuff. Now we're having AZ Harrison. He's a public affairs analyst and, of course, a security expert. He's worked within the police force itself. It's great to have you on this platform this evening, joining us. Okay, let me start off this way. There've been this argument. You have been within the police service itself in the past. There's this argument here. I'm sure you listened. And do a protester actually need a police permit to go ahead?
No.
Is there a precedent before you say no? Is there a law saying, for instance, the police does not need to be committed when a protest is supposed to come up?
I might not quote the section, of the Constitution that said so. But all the while that I was involved in service, we don't need a police permission, because permission is different from getting them informed about what we want to do, so that they will be aware and prepare to carry out their own legitimate duty. And that legitimate duty
How does the police officer, for instance, becomes aware of a protest?
Yes. It is just by way of writing them to inform them.
Is that not a permission?
No, it's not seeking permission. Seeking permission is different. Seeking permission means the police can say no or yes.
Has police not been saying no to protest?
Yes, because we have a system where even the government does not abide by the Constitution.
Let me first of all establish. Are you a former serving police officer?
Yes, I did.
You serve in the police.
Yes. Now, and I left as DSP.
Okay, what is the role of the police to protesters?
Number one, their role is to protect them. Secondly, it is to make sure that the protest is not hijacked by some opportunity-seeking hoodlums to exploit or vandalize or break shop, loot people's properties. These are the two major responsibilities of the police involving in the protest. But constitutionally, a protester or people who want to protest to express their mind do not need any official permission from the police. So if you said the police
must write a letter to the police
to inform them
yes, that we want to do this.
This is what we want to do.
The thin line of refusal. Where is the
the police has no legal right to refuse,
but the police has been refusing
because the system is wrong.
Well, maybe we can go on with the discussion. The fact of the matter still remains that if every Nigerian can just freely go to the public and do whatever they like, and all that the police will do is to carry gun and follow them. Even let's look at culture. Let's look at culture. Let me make a point.
Excuse me, Reverend Gentleman.
Okay.
Excuse me. It is not to go to the public and do what they like. It is going to follow the provisions of the Constitution to express their mind. It is not going to the public to do what they like. If what they like is to go into the public to vandalize public properties and all that, no. It is going to express themselves. Carry placards, say this is what we don't want, this is what we don't want. That is legitimate. It is not going to the public to do what they like. No,
I have actually said that.
Let me come in
I have
here.
highlighted that the means of protest in Nigeria, the way we protest in Nigeria, for example, what we understand as protest is to
Reverend, please let me come in here because I'm wondering, the revolution now, for instance, why did we have the DSS stopping it? If at all, the security apparatus do not have the right to meddle into whatever someone wants to do when it comes to protesting itself.
Well, let me pick from what he said. He said, you don't just go to the public to do what you want and the way you want it if it is not covered in the Constitution. You see, the way and manner the revolution for now, Days of Rage, was orchestrated, I was not totally in agreement with the way they want to carry out that protest. Number one, you look at the people behind it. You look at the actions.
Okay, that is actually not a topic for today.
Excuse me.
Let's go back to the topic of today, because we're going away from the topic of today. We're looking at NLC's role in this insecurity protest itself. And I feel, as a matter of fact, that it's not the business of NLC to do all of that. Let's look at the role NLC has played in labor union protest itself. How many of the union protests has NLC come out successful? Looking at the minimum wage, for instance, most of the state governors are not even coming out plain to say that they are ready to pay. Secondly, we have an Ngige coming back, who has actually extended warm hands to the labor union to say, I work in tandem with you people now. How come we do not have the labor leaders beginning to look at how they will work with the Ministry of Labor instead of dabbling into what is not their business here?
Do you say it's not their business?
That's what I feel here.
That is your feeling. But it is their business. Because they belong to this community where we have a lot of insecurities. It is their business.
But is it the first time we're having the insecurity situation in the country?
It is not the first time, but I want you to know that the time you woke up from sleep is your money. It's not the first
What
time.
happened to the days of Obasanjo coming down to Yar'Adua, then Jonathan? How come we never had a precedent from Labour? Is Labour playing politics here? Are they taking advantage of the situation? Because it appears that the goalposts has shifted now to IPOB, who has actually taken protest to the other stage of beating up public officials. Why is Labour actually dabbling into that as at now, when the country is trying to even get it right with some of these elements that we're already seeing in the country?
Let me make this assertion. You see, in the entire system we are operating in Nigeria, a lot of things are wrong. Now, there is the protective angle. The government want to protect some certain things. There is the other side who want to say, no, what you are covering is contrary to what should be. And that is what informed the protest of Labour. I want to say this. If Labour is coming out now to say, we want to protest against the insecurity in the nation and in our communities, they have the legitimate right to do that. They think it fit now. They deem it fit now. They see it to be a time that they want to do that. If they didn't do it in the past, it's not a reason why, if they have the mind to do that now, they should be stopped. No. Now,
shouldn't their members ask them questions, the executive? Why are they doing this at this point in time?
Why are they doing this now?
When they have a lot of issues to deal with.
Let me explain this. The system we are in now is just like in the military junta's era.
How do you mean?
Thank you. In the military junta era, everybody is muscled down not to express themselves.
Is that not a huge allegation?
No, it is.
Because we are practicing a democratic system of government.
Yes. Do you know what happened at Oregu? Do you know what happened?
I want to say one thing.
It was only a conference.
Okay, we have a call online. Hello, good evening. Before we go ahead. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, from
I didn't get that.
Additional.
Hello?
Yes, please go ahead. What's the name and where are you calling from?
I'm now calling from State.
Okay, please go ahead.
Actually, I just want to add to your discussion. My question first go to the moderator or presenter.
Okay, please go ahead.
Are you just come to this country for the first time? Are you just here for the first time? I feel about 2 or 3 months ago. Hope you have heard about how they are hijacking the workers by kidnappers, and those people demanding for millions from them. Nothing has been done to all those kind of things. I think this protest, is to be something like the people want, and not only that, and let people the feeling of massive. Just like what I think there. Actually, you can tell the police, but police you cannot get permission from police that maybe you want to say and something. Just to let them know. But it's considered for everybody to protect. If police is just there for you just to indeed moderator, just not to go out of hand. So there's no need of maybe it's not that you tell police that okay, I want to protect. Police cannot assure you. You cannot say maybe you could go ahead and protect. You just inform them. So
Adeshino, can you hear me?
Because people have been just like somebody is earning maybe 20,000 or 20,000, and you enter into the kidnapper.
Adeshino, can you hear me?
They are demanding me.
Hello, Adeshino, can you hear me?
I think that will help us in God's name.
Okay, in as much as I wanted to get back to Adeshino.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me? Hello. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Good evening, what's your name? Hello. Okay, I was going to tell Adeshino that I share in a sentiment. Before you go ahead,
to say about protest.
Before you even go ahead, he has said that, am I new in the country? I just wanted to tell him that I share in a sentiment. But the fact remains is that it's not only labor workers that are picked up. They are not the only people who are kidnapped here. I'm saying as a matter of fact. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Good evening, what's your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, what's your name and where you calling from?
My name is Okechukwu Silvanus.
Where are you calling from,
Calling
Silvanus?
from Lagos.
Please go ahead, Okechukwu.
Okay, the point I want to make is that the police officer there, you should have allowed him to express. Because something a man wants to express. Now, you can, during the time of Jonathan, there was a protest for 3 days or more. They were allowed, nobody disturbed them. Where Tinubu and the rest of them, protested against the hike of the petroleum. Nobody stopped them. Under this government, nobody is allowed to do it for the police will arrest you.
Is that correct? Is that a correct news you're telling us? Silvanus, you said nobody has been allowed to protest? Hello, we can hear you, Silvanus.
Okay.
Okay, it's so sad that we couldn't get all of what Silvanus wanted to say. But I was going to ask him. He said nobody has been allowed to protest in the country, which I feel that it's not fair to the system to say that nobody has been allowed. Just to clear what Additional said, I don't think, as a matter of fact, there are only workers that have been kidnapped in the country. So many people have been kidnapped, even children has been kidnapped. My issue here is that how come we are having this on the tables of the labor? That's my question here. How come Labour is not looking at some of the things that affect it directly? And I think I'm entitled to my feelings here.
No, the truth of the matter is Labour is the stakeholder. I agree with this, the police officer, retired police officer, and also my other brother there. Every Nigeria has the right to protest in one way or the other. But the truth of the matter is our view about protests is what I'm saying is wrong. For example, under this democracy, we have the representative, the Senate, and the House of Representatives, and even lower down to the various states. These are the representative of the people. Our protest should be to the National Assembly, because they are the one, they are another arm of government that are to hear the views of the people and present it to government. But is it protesting to destroy life and property? Is that the only consciousness we have? Is that the only way to go about protesting? I believe it is not. There could be a one-man protest. Why must we move the whole city to cause mayhem, to cause chaos, to cause hold up, to throw stone at policemen? Is that the way to protest? I believe the way we go about it is the issue. Protest is a right
but
to everyone.
Does Labour engage in all of this? I feel,
I remember
even
those
though
days,
I do not agree
those days,
that they should target insecurity.
I remember those days of the military when the campaign for democracy will say, okay, everybody should stay at home. That is a protest. And people stay back at home. We fought the ministry with that method and we succeeded. But I believe the police has a duty to really look at different stages of protest to know which to allow and which to disallow. Because if it boomerangs, definitely it will overwhelm them.
Okay, we just have to round up with this because we have another issue we need to look at. Really, one of the callers said that you were going to explain something about the protest itself. I don't know what the caller wants to really get out of it. But the issue here is, how far can we go with... Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Hello?
What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello? Yeah, I'm calling from Water.
Okay, please go ahead. I couldn't get that.
Hello, I just want to contribute to the
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I want you to understand one thing and one thing. You understand? During the time of Abajojo and during the time of the Big matter, I was student to many things. Even if you look at Tinubu, everything they are still at massive level. But now, if you look what is happening now, You can't even understand when Nigerians come here. I mean, Nigeria, we are very sick in Nigeria. I love this, and if people can help us, we know the difference between politics and the citizen of Nigeria. Something has to be done to eradicate our problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in. I couldn't get a good part of that. It's a lot cracky there. But really, how do we get it right? You know, Labour has said they are going on protest. You've seen protest over protest, the IMN protest. And of course, I was expecting, as a matter of fact, that any protest that will be coming from Labour at this point in time will be the issue of their welfareism. And of course, they are taking insecurity and hike and pump price, perceived hike, that the government might likely increase the price of pump price of petroleum products. Hello, good evening. Okay, hello? Before you go ahead. Hello, good evening.
Hello, Adesina is calling from Ilorin.
Please go ahead, Adesina.
Hello?
Please go ahead, we can hear you.
Adesina from Ilorin. I want to reply to what Reverend just said. At least we can count about 3 or 4 protests that people move to National Assembly. How many of it that he used the talk of killing Kaduna Abuja Expressway and some other things? Let me tell you, let's be realistic to ourselves. It's only when all the protests is being killed throughout the nation is there that step on the table. Talk of allergy, talk of insecurity, talk all those things that affect woman something. Except this nation, Nigeria, except that protest is being taken. I cannot accommodate that the protest is out of hand or riot or whatever. But as far as this country is concerned, that is only medium. And that's the only way we can talk to government. I pray that God will help us.
Thank you so much, Adesina, for calling back again and actually hearing some of your views. But then, if you look at, I'm a little bit perturbed because I feel that the issues that border on the importance of the labor unions are not well dealt with. For instance, it's been dabbled into so many things. And of course, the fuel subsidy has been there forever. We've had protests upon protests, but the pump price of petroleum products has been the same. So if Labour now is saying I'm coming out, is it that they want to be noticed here? Because I feel there are more critical assignments for labor unions to look at very critically, especially their welfareism. How do they get out of all of this? How do they get themselves more serious and disabuse our minds from thinking that they have been infiltrated? Okay, we'll take this call before taking that question. Hello. Yes, please go ahead. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Charles, calling from Abuja.
Okay, from Abuja.
My first, I want to ask you. My question is that
Oh, too bad. We hope to have him back online because it appears that he's off the line now. Okay, to that question itself, we've had all of these issues, but there have not been any significant progress in all of that. So if you have Labour saying we are picking up on insecurity, have they gotten it right with your welfareism? Have they gotten it right with some of the issues about the petroleum industry that they have always fought for over the years? Now they're dabbling into security. You know, how do they get out of all of this?
Why their effort had not actually yielded any good result is because we have a system that doesn't have a listening ear. A system that has no feeling for the governed. That is why it's as if they have not done anything. Now,
but how did the likes of Oshomole, because I know Oshomole, for instance, I've never seen him protesting insecurity while he was NLC
please,
president.
I don't want to talk about Oshomole. I don't want to talk about him. Let's look into why NLC want to look at this issue of insecurity. If the issue of the minimum wage is settled and the other things are settled and there is no security, the whole thing becomes a waste. Those who are going to enjoy those things that have been settled, would they be in the grave to enjoy it? They must be alive to have the benefits of those things they have fought for. I want to categorically say that NLC feels now it is right for them to protest against this issue of insecurity, because if there is no security, there is no workforce that will operate smoothly. There is no workforce.
Are they just knowing that now?
They are not just knowing, but it is on a very high rate now. It has never been like this in any regime between 1960 and today. It has never been like
But is that not a problem that grew over time?
Even if it is a problem
it's something that
grew over
started
time.
from somewhere, and we got to this point. Are we
Excuse me.
going to blame a particular
No,
administration
excuse me.
for
Excuse
actually
me.
all of this problems?
Excuse me.
The
We
truth
are
of the
not
matter.
putting blame alone on this administration. No. But the fact is this. There should be a downtrend. When you meet at a point, your effort should be noticed that such thing is reducing. But it is not reducing. It is increasing. It's escalating. It's getting to a point that is becoming a mayhem to the society. And nobody presently, nobody is safe in this country. I want to say that in clear terms. Nobody is safe. You see, what
You might,
the communities
what
are
kind of
doing to political
information are you privy to say that? Because that's a very sensitive word here, to say nobody is safe.
Nobody is
Even
safe.
right in the studio here.
Excuse me, let me tell you this.
See,
The nation as a whole, we are sitting on a timed bomb. I'm speaking that as a security man. I am telling you the truth. The nation as a whole. You see, it's not that sometimes we don't talk about some things on air. If you watch the trend of insecurity in all the parts of the country, you will understand what I'm saying. So if Labour is coming out now to say, no, we cannot work again, except we are guaranteed security to be free to do our work,
let me come in after.
but the way
Yeah.
and manner they should go about it, that is where they have to work hand in hand with the police. But if the police say they are not independent, they want to take instruction, whether to back up what is their legitimate duty to do or not, is up to them. But the fact is this: we have never had a terrible situation in the economy and the security system of this country ever before like this. I want to tell you the truth.
Okay, I've had that, but this is my view. We are talking about insecurity. Have we bothered to look at the cause, the root cause of insecurity in Nigeria? Let me premise it. Let me show us the picture of what we have, because every hand is pointing at government. But the truth of the matter is, security is everybody's business. We, the people, are compounding the security situation of Nigeria. And I will bring it down. One way through which we have come to this level of insecurity is politics. Our politicians' way of divide to rule. Manipulating the people, instigating the people, inciting the people one against another. Another is religious factor. Muslim not wanting to see eye to eye with one another. We talk about X-Men crisis. What led to it? Why can't we maintain brotherliness? Why can't we live together in peace? We refuse, and by the instigation of some people, by the volatile proclamation of some people, we become excited. Do we want to blow up Nigeria once and for all?
That's
The
a
truth
big
of the
question.
matter
I
is
think
this.
it's a food for thought.
Let me even come to a point. Not too long ago, I was at the radio session of IBR, and I said, I premise solution to incessant, terrible security situation we have in Nigeria to three things. Number one, we the people. We need to really believe in a Nigeria that is for all. Forget about whether you are Yoruba, forget about whether you are Hausa, forget about whether you are Igbo. Let's promote our Nigerianness. Forget about whether you're a Christian or a Muslim. We are talking about a God who made all mankind Why are we killing
On that
ourselves?
note, I must say thank you so much to Reverend Koyeladele and of course to Eze Harrison.
Thank you.
We also say thank you to Gideon backstage for also being part of this panel this evening. It's been an interesting one, and we hope that as a matter of fact that Labour will follow all the rules and of course ensure that their members are not suffering and leaving some of the primary assignment that they have to actually deal with. My name is Bola Famous School, and the program has been Political Talk. Do have a pleasant evening.